Vanakkam and Namaste. In this video, I expose the false narrative of the godi media that the Tanjavur girl committed suicide because of the harassment meted out to her to force her conversion. I start my expose by giving a translation of two videos, one of which is longer and the other is shorter, which appear to be parts of the original video. I have translated the conversation literally to keep intact the peculiar language elements and its flavor. The video starts without an introduction. A dying declaration cannot start like this. Even a normal conversation does not, cannot, and will not start abruptly. There will be some introduction about the persons engaged in the conversation. Both the videos in question start and end abruptly. Throughout the conversation, the girl uses the pronouns they, them, theirs, our, and ours in singular sense. These plural pronouns are used for addressing a person with respect. This is the translation of the longer video, which I have translated literally. The victim says, "My name is," she gives her name. Then she goes on to say, "Our father's name is Muruganandam and our mother's name is Saranya. I have been studying in Michaelpatti from 8th to 12th standard. I always got first rank, but this year, due to our family circumstances, I was unable to go to school on time. So, I went late to school. There are sisters in the boarding. They would always ask only me to write accounts. I would tell sister, since I came to school late this time, so I don't understand anything. I will write and give later the account. But they would never listen." At this point, she struggles to speak. This could be due to her unfit physical condition. Then they would say, "It's okay, first write and give and then see to your work." Saying like that, they would always convince me and make me write the accounts. Even if I write it correctly, they will say, it is wrong, and make me sit with them for at least an hour. How can I study? I couldn't concentrate at all. My marks started going down. I thought if it continues, I will not be able to study at all. So I drank poison. The account she refers to here is the stationery account. Its value is around rupees 5,000. Since the girls in the hostel are not allowed to go out of the school compound, stationery was provided to them in the hostel itself. The victim girl maintained the account of this stationery and nothing else. Then Sangi Muthuvel, the person who recorded the video, asked this question, "What is your name, daughter?" The victim tells her name. Sangi Muthuvel, "What is the sister's name?" Victim, Sagaya Mary. Sangi Muthuvel, "What is the father's name?" Meaning, what is the name of the priest in the school? Victim, "The school has no father." Sangi Muthuvel, "What is the name of the school headmaster?" "They did not do anything." Sangi Muthuvel, "I asked only their name." These words of Muthuvel are uttered with a tone of little annoyance, irritation, and threat. This is because Muthuvel realizes that with such answer the girl is exposing his intention. That is, his intention to falsely implicate the nuns that the girl committed suicide on account of their attempt to force her conversion. Then the victim gives the name of the headmaster as R.O.K. Mary. Sangi Muthuvel. Did they ask you to do any other work? Victim. They asked me to lock the gate and all sorts of work. Sangi Muthuvel. What other works did she give? Sangi Muthuvel. What other works did they give you? Victim. As I wake up in the morning, I have to open the gate. After breakfast, there will be more work. The warden would make me do all the work because she considered me responsible. I have highlighted the words because they consider me responsible, as it is crucial. It rebuts the false accusation that the girl was harassed. From this, it is very clear that the girl herself didn't consider that she was given works with the sole purpose of harassing her, leave alone to convert her. Then Sangi Muthuvel asks, okay, at the school, did they tell you not to keep sentur, that is bendi, on your forehead? The victim. No, nothing of that sort. Sangi Muthuvel. Did you go home for Pongal? Victim. When I asked them, they said, no, you have to study, you stay here. They kept me back in the hostel saying that. Sangi Muthuvel. Even for Pongal you didn't go to village? Meaning, even for Pongal holidays the nuns didn't let you go home? By this question, the Sangi Muthuvel wants to convey an impression that as a part of their conversion attempt, the nuns did not allow the girl go home for holidays and celebrate Pongal. He also wants to give an impression that Pongal is a Hindu festival. Pongal is not a Hindu festival. It is a Tamil cultural festival celebrating good harvest. It is celebrated by both the Hindus and Christians. I think the Muslims too celebrate the festival. Many years ago, PTI reported that a Catholic priest was killed in Andaman for celebrating the festival, allegedly by some people who were opposed to Pongal. Victim. I told them I was unwell and they sent me home. But according to Pauline, a Michaelpatti villager, after feeding the girl breakfast on January 10th morning, Sister Sagaya Mary informed the girl that she had informed the girl's stepmother about her health condition and requested her to come and take the girl home. However, the girl protested to Sister Sagaya Mary as to why she called her stepmother to take her home, and she refused to go home. But Sister Sagaya Mary convinced her to go home as she would get individual attention there. Pauline says that the girl, in fact, tried to call her stepmother using the hostel phone, apparently to tell her stepmother not to come. But Sister Sagaya Mary told her not to do so, following which the girl slammed down the receiver. Then Sangi Muthuvel asks, were they aware that you drank poison? The girl replies, no. Now, the following is the translation of the shorter video, which the godi media calls a dying declaration and hence a clinching evidence, but falsely. This footage also starts abruptly, as you can see. Victim. They ask mother and father whether they can change me to a Christian and then would educate. Since the footage starts abruptly, it is unclear whether the girl uses a pronoun they in singular or plural sense. From this, it is absolutely clear that some portion before the pronoun they has been cut off, because the girl uses the pronouns they with an understanding that the listener knows that whether she is using the word in a singular or plural sense. The girl cannot have such an understanding without there being a conversation on the pronoun they earlier. After this, she says a few more words, but they are not clear, and then these words are heard. Don't stay, they said. India Today translates the same conversation in the following way. The school asked my parents if they can convert me to Christianity. Since I didn't accept, they kept scolding me. In the video, she doesn't say that since I didn't accept, they kept scolding me. India Today and CNN IBN add these extra words to give a false narrative that force was used on the girl so that she converts. Now, Sangi Muthuvel asks, who asked? Victim, sister. Sangi Muthuvel, name? That is, what is the name of the man who asked your parents to allow her to convert you? Victim, Raquel Mary. Sangi Muthuvel, is her name Raquel Mary? This is to confirm that the victim gave the correct name. Victim, she doesn't give answer. Sangi Muthuvel, what else they said? Victim, nothing else. Sangi Muthuvel, who they asked? Victim, father and mother. Sangi Muthuvel, when they asked? Victim, 2.5 years ago. Sangi Muthuvel, then the next day. The video is cut short at this point, meaning some portion has been deleted from the footage. After carefully examining the two videos available in the public domain, my conclusion as to the length of the original video is that it should have been more than 4 minutes long. The reasons for my conclusion are: 1. Both the videos start and end abruptly. 2. Both appear to be part of the original video. 3. The shorter one follows the longer footage. And 4. Some portion between these two appears to have been deleted. And 5. Some portions at the start and end of these videos have been deleted. As you have seen from the translation, nowhere the girl says that she was harassed for refusing to convert. Now let's see India Today's coverage of the issue. India Today declares that the girl has spoken in her dying declaration that force was used on her for the purpose of converting her. This you saw is not the fact. Therefore, the statement of India Today is false. To buttress its false narrative, India Today takes on board Khushbu, a natural ally. She is a Tamil Nadu BJP unit member and an actress. She is given 5 minutes to repeat the lies. Khushbu says that the girl clearly said that she was harassed to convert. However, from the translation, it is very clear that Khushbu's statement is totally false. Why do you twist facts, Khushbu? Does the girl really say that she was harassed to force her conversion? We too have ears and eyes. We can hear the girl's words. To give a false impression that the channel is neutral to the issue, the anchor asks Khushbu, have you heard that the students in Christian missionary schools in Tamil Nadu are forced to convert? Her answer is, I have asked the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Mr. Stalin, to make a statement that conversion in Tamil Nadu do not happen. Is this the answer to the question, Khushbu? Should your answer not be yes or no? You would not give such answer because you know that by giving either of these two answers, you would get trapped. You don't have any proof for forced conversion. That's why you make clumsy statements and avoid a direct answer. The anchor does not press Khushbu for an answer to the point. She lets Khushbu get away with diverting the issue because the anchor asks the question to give a false impression that the channel's coverage is balanced. Meanwhile, Khushbu's demand that Chief Minister M.K. Stalin make a statement that conversion in Tamil Nadu does not happen is preposterous and ridiculous. You don't make a statement on something that doesn't exist, but on something that does exist. Twisting facts is not something new to Khushbu. One of her famous twisting is a speech of VCK leader Thirumavalavan, who in a public address quoted chapter 9 verses 14 and 15 of Manu Simruti, which categorizes women as prostitutes. But Khushbu twisted this, saying that Mr. Thirumavalavan called the women as prostitutes. Now let's see what Rahul Shivshankar of Times Now says. He says that a dying declaration of sorts was recorded by one individual. Mr. Shivshankar, it is not a dying declaration of sorts, but a forced extraction. Mr. Shivshankar is careful to use the word sorts to convey the message that he is not asserting that the video is a dying declaration. But how many of your viewers know the difference between a dying declaration and a dying declaration of sorts, Mr. Shivshankar? Then to make a case that the Tamil Nadu government is trying to brush the case under the carpet, he says one particular community enjoys huge presence. Where, Mr. Shivshankar? This one particular community enjoys a huge presence. Identify this area where this one particular community enjoys huge presence. You are using a vague language because you want to give your viewers a false impression that you are speaking the truth, when in fact what you say is far from truth. The ADMK and the DMK have equal support of this particular community that you are referring to, which is just under 5% in Tamil Nadu. This is not a huge presence, Mr. Shivshankar, and I remind you that ADMK is an ally of BJP in Tamil Nadu. He says that the FIR registered by the police omitted the reason that the girl committed suicide on account of the harassment meted out to her to force her conversion. The FIR was registered on January 14 or 15 and the nun was arrested on January 16. The dying declaration was recorded by a magistrate before the FIR was registered, in which the girl did not utter a single word about the forced conversion. While the video was fabricated on January 17, that is, after the nun was arrested, since a dying declaration recorded by a magistrate did not have what the Sanghis wanted, the Sanghi Muthuvel fabricated the video in question and sent it to Tamil Nadu BJP unit president Annamalai, who released the video after the girl died on January 19. And this is the reason why the FIR does not have the forced conversion point. Now let's see what CNN IBN says. These are the words of Shivani Gupta of CNN IBN. A young student took her life because she was facing pressure from school authorities after rejecting their bid to convert her. We saw what the girl had said, and from that it is clear that this claim of Shivani is false. She further says, that is a shocking case that has come to light from Tamil Nadu, sending alarm all across the country. Shivani, it is a false alarm that you and others in the gaudy media have set off. Shivani says, the girl and her parents were allegedly asked by the school authorities to convert her to Christianity under the lure of taking care of her education further. Shivani, the girl's stepmother boasts that they are well off as they have 10 acres of land and running a lucrative milk business. So how can the girl be converted to Christianity under the lure of educating her? Shivani says, when this was rejected a couple of years ago, the minor in her dying declaration has said that she was made to do menial chores and was being ill-treated by the school authorities. This is a lie because the girl didn't say so, and we have seen what the girl said in the video. Shivani says, since then the police came forward to say that in the initial probe there is no claim of forced conversion, which created a major political row, with the BJP alleging that the ruling dispensation and the police are trying to underplay the real reason. Shivani, the BJP is a rejected party in Tamil Nadu. It wants an independent foothold without riding piggyback on the ADMK. The only way to do this is the time-tested formula of creating communal disturbance. And it is for this reason the BJP and the Sanghis falsely call this fabricated video as a dying declaration. Shivani further says, this also raised eyebrows because in such a cases, a dying declaration is as good as it gets for the police to act accordingly. She is stealthily declaring that the video is a dying declaration. Shivani, this is not a dying declaration. I explained why this is not a dying declaration in a previous video. In the program, a BJP spokesman, S.G. Surya, says that because of the harassment 2 months before the consuming poison, the girl tried to change the school. This is totally false. He also says that the girl was made to do menial jobs. From the statement of the girl that we saw earlier, it is clear that S.G. Surya is lying. Now let's see how NewsX covered the issue. NewsX coverage was balanced, but it gave too much time for liars. During its program on the issue, a participant, Seema Kushava, an advocate, claims that she visited a Christian institution in Kanpur where it was mandatory for Hindu students to pay homage to the statues of saints installed there. She doesn't give the name of the institution. By this example, she wants the viewers to believe that the Tanjavur girl forced conversion story is true. Seema's claim of mandatory homage is 100% untrue. No Christian institution mandates students of other faiths to pay reverence either to the crucifix or any of the statues of saints. In the same program, a BJP representative, Narayanan Tirupati, falsely claims that the said video is a dying declaration. Another guest, Raj Lakshmi Joshi, says that a certain method is used for conversion. They will not approach you and me, she says, meaning the Christian missionaries will not approach the educated and wealthy, but only the gullible and poor. Rajalakshmi is ignorant of the 2000-year conversion history of Christianity. She is ignorant that Emperor Constantine, to use her own words, was more than you and me. Constantine is not the only example. There are thousands more. This is how the gaudy media lies to its viewers. I therefore request all of you to beware of the gaudy media. They are false messengers. Thank you for watching. My name is Deva.